Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello and welcome to Ask Rob and Rob, a show with one of the most straightforward concepts you'll ever hear. You ask us questions and we, Rob and Rob, answer those questions. We've got 2 questions to answer today, good ones as well, so we'll get to those in just a sec after a quick recap of how you ask a question of your own.
Yes, if you're a regular listener, you'll know this by now, but just in case, you can call 013 808 00035. Put that in your phone. Normal rates apply. Anytime you've got a property question, call it. Or, if you're online, which most of you are, go to thepropertyhub.net/ask and you can get your question that way too. Either way, it's super simple. And first up, we've got Matt.
Hi Rob and Rob, it's Matt calling from Birmingham. Just a quick one, I wanted to say thank you for all the fantastic content you guys put out. But I've got a question. I was wondering what the white paper released by the government is likely to do for house prices, certainly within Birmingham. It's an area that I'm looking to invest, and I know that it's just been announced that they're building 6,000 new homes on previously deemed greenbelt land, and I was just wondering what you'd expect this to do. It's next to an area known as Sutton Coldfield, which is quite an affluent area. I'm just wondering how you'd expect this to impact house prices. I know there's a lot of redevelopment going on nationally, so I think this would be obviously a useful topic. Cheers. Bye.
The white paper, Rob, which probably should be named toilet paper because that's all it's useful for. I think that's this answer done. Next. No, we probably should say more.
Yeah, that is pretty much the summary though. I think the real standout of the white paper is how little it's really going to do. I think the action to word ratio is going to be quite disappointing because there's lots and lots in there and it describes the problem, but it doesn't really give that much in the way of solutions. And yeah, okay, at this point, it's not meant to be detailed policy proposals, but nevertheless, there's very little in there that seems like you can imagine where it's going to really meaningfully move the needle. So in terms of planning, there are bits and pieces, but nothing that's really going to allow lots and lots of homes to be built. Matt mentioned building on the Greenbelt in Sutton Coldfield, but in general, Greenbelt restrictions aren't going to be relaxed. So it seems to me, Rob, not a lot is going to change there. And 6,000 new homes in Sutton Coldfield, would you say that's going to make a difference to house prices more locally?
Maybe for a very short period of time, but no, I don't think it'll have any major impact. It is a nice area, though. What I would say is the white paper, I'm sure, when it was initially proposed, had some very bold and interesting ideas. But with most government papers or suggestions or anything that's proposed, lots of people have got their hands on it. And it's been watered down and watered down and watered down until actually the anticipation of the event was much better than the event itself. So, sorry, Matt, not too chirpy on that one, which is very unlike us. But it's good to see you've got your finger on the pulse in your local market and Birmingham's got all the fundamentals that you'd want. So I'm sure you can make investments work there with or without the white paper. Good luck. Okay, and next up is Drew. And luckily, we're going to be a bit more chirpy and helpful with this one.
Hi Rob and Rob, this is Drew. I have contacted you guys before about a question that I had and you answered it for me, so I'm hoping I'll get lucky again. My question is about paying down interest-only mortgages. I've got a couple of properties with interest-only mortgages and I wanted to find out your opinion about how you would go about paying off these mortgages. Obviously I've got savings and I'm hoping in the area that I've got them in, which is in Cardiff, that obviously the prices are doing pretty well, but I wanted your opinion in terms of different methods of paying them off, and whether some people did extend the mortgage, and how you factor the equity into that figure as well. I'd just be interested to know what you think. Thanks very much. Great podcast. Cheers, boys.
Okay, so paying down interest-only mortgages. You get a 25-year term. At the end of those 25 years, the same amount you borrowed is still outstanding. What do you do? Well, loads of things you can do, actually. And that's the great thing about interest-only mortgages. I know that some people are wary of them, and some people decide to go for repayment instead. That's absolutely fine. But I think people can miss the fact that interest only isn't as scary as it first seems. And there's a few reasons for that. Firstly, thanks to inflation, the debt is going to be worth a lot less in real terms by the time you get to the end of those 25 years as it is at the start. So if you borrow 50,000, it's still going to be worth 50,000 in 25 years, but that's going to be worth, in terms of purchasing power, relatively a lot less. So if the value of your house has gone up with inflation or even beyond, you're actually going to own less as a proportion of the value. Another thing is you can actually keep mortgages rolling for longer than you think. You can get mortgages till quite late in life. And if after 5 years you decide to remortgage, you get a new 25-year term, suddenly the term is now 30 years. And you can just keep on going for quite a long time, which gives inflation even longer to work its magic. Nevertheless, though, you do, of course, need to pay it off at some point. But Rob, if you're building a portfolio, there should be some options there.
There is. One of the things you can do is look to possibly sell off a few of the properties. So let's say you've bought 4 properties. They've all gone up in value over time. Well done. You might be able to sell 1 or 2 of them and pay off the mortgages on all the rest, especially if they've gone up. One might do it. And the profits from that one on capital growth will allow you to pay the mortgages off on the others, so you're mortgage free on all of them. There's different approaches you can take to this as well, where you never need to sell a property and pass it on, but still take the income and the benefits. But as Rob said, the main play here is the fact that inflation will take hold. And if you've had this, 25, 30, 35, maybe for some of you 40 years, by the time you come to a point where you're reassessing the mortgages, it's probably credit card debt because inflation's had such a big impact. So if you go to the Property Hub, .net/podcasts and search for inflation. We've covered this subject a few times and, as I mentioned, done a whole podcast dedicated to it. It was in the first 20 odd podcasts, so have a look and you'll find it. But the search bar within the Property Hub website is very, very good, so you'll be able to find it that way. Have a listen and it'll explain more.
All right, so that's 2 more questions answered on Ask Rob and Rob. If you haven't asked your question yet, then do it. Drew has had 2 questions answered now. Whatever you want to know, just pick up the phone or get in front of your laptop and ask. We make it very easy and we'll give you some nice comprehensive answers for you and everyone else to enjoy. So we will leave you to pick up your phone and do that right now. And then we'll be back on Thursday with another episode of the Property Podcast. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.